Look at this lesson. It says, forgiveness is my function. I just love this, as the light of the world. This actually, if you look at lesson 61, the one prior to this, it's talking about I am the light of the world. And we did this back in February, if you remember. This is one of our lessons in the prayer ministry, I am the light of the world. Now, this is telling us that as the light of the world, as we remember who and what we really are, this light of the world, that forgiveness must be our function. It says, it is your forgiveness that will bring the world of darkness to light. And you may say, well, what is forgiveness? From the Course's perspective, forgiveness is, it says, it has a lot of different definitions of it. It says it's a selective remembering based not on your selection, meaning you're supposed to begin to remember the truth about your brother as opposed to the things that you have built up about him or the truth about yourself. That's what it means by a selective remembering. We pick through all the judgments you've made about yourself. We pick through all the judgments we've made about another, and we go, not that one, not with that. Oh, this loving thought. That's all that's true. That's the reality of them. Beyond all the things you think they've done to you, beyond all the things you think you've done to them, this is the reality of you, this is the reality of them. So that's what it means by a selective remembering. Now, we're not very good at the selection. That's why it says, based not on your selection, based on the help of the Holy Spirit, who sorts through. If anything, the Holy Spirit is like a great sifter in your mind. I always go back to this. Have you ever sifted flour? Well, think about that in your own mind. You know, you might think, I'm pretty good at releasing my judgments. I've been doing the course for a while, or maybe I haven't been doing it very long, but I'm a very happy person. I'm a very loving person. But what the Holy Spirit does is he sifts through even the slightest irritation and the slightest judgment, and he gets the primo truth for you. He helps you to see the real loving thoughts that are there. And he can sift through just about anything. He's really good at that. You know, his reality show would be, you know, I mean, super hunter of happiness. I don't know what we could call him, but, you know, I think about those guys who always find what the antique road shows where they find these great antiques out of nothing, people's junk in their house, they find these great things. The Holy Spirit would find joyous love even in the most difficult circumstance in your life. So I think about that when I'm going through a problem, I bring it to him and he sifts through it. This great sifter. I like to think about things like that. You know, what helps me to feel like I'm going to bring it to him is he knows how to get the best out of everything. And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is, like it says, a selective remembering, a selective focus. So we want to focus on the light. You know, forgiveness is my function as the light of the world. What is the light that's in you? You know, light is synonymous with truth. Light is synonymous with knowledge. Darkness is synonymous with ignorance and fear and doubt and our ego. So that's what's kind of exciting about it. If we are the light of the world, then we're focusing on our reality. We're focusing on who and what we truly are. We're not stuck in that false way of thinking. So when I begin to move my mind to the truth, you might say, well, you're just saying those words. Yeah, but I'm believing them. What does it say down here at the very, very end, this lesson? It says, I would remember this because what? Look at that line. What does it say? I want to be happy. Because my motivation is I want this. And then you might say, well, you can want as much as you want, but what, you know, there's still crappy stuff going on in the world. There's still crappy stuff going on in your life. But you know what the Course says? Is the stuff that is not the truth isn't real anyway. And the more you begin to focus on the reality of who and what you are and the reality of who and what your brother is, that becomes the focus that is more intense in your mind. And why is that? Because that's the reality. That is real. The rest is not. And I know that's hard for our minds to wrap around, but that is our reality. And the more that we practice these thoughts, the more you do your workbook lessons, the more you exercise that spiritual muscle, the stronger it is. The easier it is for you to call upon it when you need it. Just like when you exercise. You know, if I get up and I go, I want to be able to do 50 sit-ups today, and I haven't been doing them. Do I get to do 50 sit-ups just like that? Maybe, but it sure is going to hurt, or maybe I won't get there. But if I do 10 a day for a week and then maybe 20 the next week, and I can build myself up to what it is I need to do. The same thing is true about our workbook lessons. We have to begin the process of exercising that spiritual muscle, of becoming aware of what we really are entitled to and what is the truth. So let's look at this again. You are the light of the world. Forgiveness will bring the world of darkness to light. It is through your forgiveness that lets you recognize the light in which you see. You've probably seen this or heard this before, that if there is darkness and a little bit of light comes through, even though it still seems somewhat dark, is the darkness still there? No. The fact is that the moment light dawns on darkness, darkness is no more. That's how powerful light is. That's how powerful truth is. I'm always amazed when I think about how water is so much stronger than rock. You know, I think I've told you that story before, that when Jeffrey, our son, who was like, when he was like in 3rd grade or something in science class, and we were talking about something in the kitchen. We're always talking about something in the kitchen. He's sitting at the table reading or something, and I'm talking about something, and Mother's always talking. And I think I said to him, well, what's stronger, water or rock? And he goes, rock. And I go, really? He goes, oh, water. He knows if I go really, that it's the other answer. And I said, but think about it. I said, honey, think about the Grand Canyon. What made that? Well, water. You know, I mean, that a little trickle is so much stronger than this big, mighty rock. So in our lives, so many times, we seem to see boulder problems, big, huge problems. And what this is saying is the introduction of the truth, the introduction of light is so much stronger than the seeming darkness, than the seeming problem, even though the problem looks so big. You know, water wears away a boulder over time. Same thing I was saying, it's the spiritual muscle that we practice. It wears it away over time. And we'll get there. We're going to get there. The reason we're going to get there is because the water, the light, the love is the truth. We've just given the boulder, the problem, the darkness, so much more reality in our mind. But just because you give a lie a lot more space in your mind doesn't make it true. Still a lie, just takes up a lot of space. So we need to start refocusing our attention. That's what this is saying. That's why